Welcome to Los Angeles. We're here at Dodger Stadium. My name is Amanda Rice, and this is my co-host.
My name is Kate Gretel.
I'll be your host for this pregame show today. It's finally Friday, and might I add, a very nice afternoon in May. We are here waiting for this game to begin, and I wanted to mention a group of students that will be joining us tonight. A teacher from Holbert Elementary, Rafe Itzquith, the teacher in classroom 56, puts in exhausting hours for children to learn beyond the classroom. He'll be bringing with him 5 students tonight. He was given 6 tickets per game, home game, by the general manager to share his love of baseball. He randomly picks their names from a hat. They are very lucky to come to such an exciting game tonight. They're getting a tour of the offices before the game starts to learn about the business of baseballs. Last time he mentioned a child named Sam that wanted to come. I wonder if he'll be joining them tonight. I think I see what the kids call the Oprah Mobile coming into the parking lot now. They're getting out and look very excited. The officers clearing them for their clearance to come in. Here comes their tour guide. We'll check in with her after the tour gets back. Well, how did the tour go? Well, this is my last tour of the day, and I'm exhausted. I thought I was done for the day, and I was like, oh, great, one more? But I knew it was my job, and I knew they wanted to go, so we went ahead and went. So along the way, I think his name was Caesar, recognized a picture of Henry Fonda. Well, actually, all the kids recognized him, but Caesar was the one that spoke up first. He continued about how he starred in 12 Angry Men in 1957 and that he was in The Grapes of Wrath. I was amazed about their knowledge beyond their years. I challenged them by asking other challenging questions along the tour. And usually the tour only takes like 10 minutes. This one took almost an hour. After the tour was over, the kids went to go get some hot dogs. I pulled the teacher, Mr. Rafe Esquith, aside and told him his group of kids were unlike no other group I had ever taken around. They were confident, but they were so sweet. I told him that they were extraordinary. He told me he'd been told at other places that he had a great group of students. He told me his secret. He said, these students wasn't born extraordinary. They became that way. They have been exposed to many great ideas and teachings, and their parents back them up because they know their importance. What a concept. Well, I better get going now. Good luck for the rest of the game. Thank you for sharing that with us. That is an awesome concept to have. I am sure there was a time when these children weren't always like this, but the teacher seen them as diamonds in the rough and polished them up, so to say, to make them what they are today. Not forgetting to mention all the sacrifice, effort, and preparation. Sometimes it's a hard road to travel. Hey, that reminds me of something Robert Frost once said. The road less traveled can make all the difference. These children coming to the baseball game tonight are capable of learning in unexpected places. I wonder what they may learn from the game or at this game tonight. I'll leave you with just a few thoughts before I pass you on to hear what Molly has going on in the game. Just think, we don't know what children are capable of doing in their lifetime, so don't settle for mediocre. Strive for greatness out of children. Here's Molly. Play ball.
Thanks, Amanda. Top of the third at Dodger Stadium, and I'm Molly. Well, I was looking around at this awesome crowd, and I saw 3 guys that had a little boy with them. That little boy seemed to have what to be an electronic game. And I watched him for over a minute, and he never once took his eyes off that device. You know, I think children are too consumed by TV these days. I spoke to Mr. Edquist, a local teacher, and he told me of a story he once knew of another teacher. A teacher had a little girl in his class that was falling behind, so he made a visit to her house, and when the mother opened the door, he saw the little girl sitting there watching TV. The teacher explained the situation to the mother, and she said that she would take care of it. A few days passed, and the little girl's grades did not improve, so the teacher made a second visit to the house, and when she confronted the mother said she didn't know what to do. The teacher said, well, I know something I can do. And he literally took the TV from the home. I have to say, I like his enthusiasm. However, Mr. Edquist said that was bullying. What do you think, Amanda?
I think it's a little extreme. I think that the parents should step up to the plate and put limitations on TV privileges, especially not watching it until homework is completed, if even watching it any day of the week during school week. We'll be right back after this short message from our sponsors.
Take that.
Hey, yo, kill the music! Man, I can barely hear myself think with all that noise. Can you hear me up there?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Alright. Well, last October at a game, I saw Stephen King, award-winning author, reading a book during the inning. So I was able to catch him after the game, and I asked him about it, and he said that usually he can read 18 pages during a game. But with commercials getting so long on breaks, he can read up to 27 pages. I thought that was amazing. What do you think, Kiko? Do you think you can read during a game?
I don't think I can read books between innings because I hear a lot of noise.
Okay, back to you.
Thank you, Molly. That was interesting learning about how everyday distractions can get us off track. We'll be right back after this short message from our sponsors. Okay, now we're back. Let's check in with Molly and see how this game's going.
Well, it's a ball in the third. If you remember, we spoke earlier in the game about TV consuming children, and that reminds me of a trip I once took to Washington, D.C. last fall. As I was going through security, I noticed a TSA agent trying to corral a group of kids, and I heard the agent tell the students to put the backpacks on the conveyor belt and to pull out their cell phones and Game Boys. They replied that they didn't have any. After the agent realized that they were not lying, by the look on his face, was a little bit confused, but before he could say anything further, they had moved on. As it turns out, they were on the same flight as I was. When they boarded the plane, I overheard the flight attendant ask the chaperone how many DVD players they would need. The chaperone simply said they didn't need any. The flight attendant explained that it was going to be a 5-hour flight. The chaperone said the kids were going to read during the flight. The last thing I heard the flight attendant asking was, "Can they do that?" I was fascinated by what I heard. I had to ask the chaperone how he got his kids to read. He told me some very interesting key points. One is to set limits for your children's viewing. Don't allow television on school nights even after homework is finished. Be consistent with the media plan and don't change the rules. Schedule television viewings in advance and don't allow your children to watch inappropriate things. Keep television, video games, and computers out of the bedroom. Television is best approached when families are doing it together, making it a learning experience. What do you think, Amanda?
I think those are some very good key things to keep in mind when you're teaching your children things that they need to know. I also think that is amazing about that story, about those children reading for 5 hours. I don't even know if I could do that. So to have these children being taught to keep the electronics away and actually read, it's going to make them a better person. Okay, it's that time again. We have to take a break and hear a word from our sponsors. Thank you.
It was an exciting game, however, Dodgers lost 8-6 to Cardinal. After the game, Mr. Leif Esquist and his kids headed for house. To their way home in the barn, the radio broadcasted Dodger chat after the game, and his kids were uptight about the manager, players, and anyone else they could think of while trying to lay blame for evening loss. After Mr. Leif dropped off the last kid, he realized he had left some papers in the classroom. He would have to return them to Tuesday. Although he was exhausted, he went back to school to pick them up. He could enter school and shut off the alarm set at 11 p.m. because his principal had entrusted him with keys to the school and the alarm code. When he went to room 656, something scared the hell out of him. It was Sam. He read books about World War near one of the playground rides because his mother didn't come to pick him up. Mr. Rafe took him to his house when he left. In his car, Sam asked Mr. Rafe to him to downtown library to read more books. It made Mr. Rafe happy.